ṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ là ń rí, Ọ̀yọ́ ò ní ṣe bí bàbá ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Ajíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ ni wọ́n ò jàre. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹni kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ọ̀yọ́ lọ́la àfin ni wọ́n ò jàre. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹni kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ajíṣe bí Ọ̀yọ́ online television. Ọ̀yọ́ ìṣe bí ẹni kọ̀ọ̀kan. Ìròyìn àsìkò tó kojú owó.
Ajisebi Ọ̀yọ́ online television and radio www.ajisebiọyọradio.com. ẹ ṣé tẹ́ ń gbọ́ ìkànnì wa o. Ajisebi Ọ̀yọ́ là á rí, Ọ̀yọ́ ò ní ṣe bí bàbá ẹnì kọ̀ọ̀kan.
Mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyàjẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ kò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí oúnjẹ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni.
Ọ̀gá mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyàjẹ́ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ kò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí oúnjẹ ẹ̀ṣẹ̀ ni.
Mẹ́tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ mẹ́tọ́ mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́ ìyànjẹ ní fẹ́ni tí o mọ̀ kò má dá Ọlọ́run ò nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí ọ̀yẹ́ èèwọ̀ ni.
Ọ̀gá mi ní abẹ́ òfin ìwọ ń kọ́.
Ohun tó ní tẹ́lẹ̀ omi ò ní ìwọ́kọ́ Ọlọ́run tó fi kádàrá àgbẹ̀ màmá ní Ọlọ́run. Màmá ní ọpẹ́lẹ̀ kò fọ́lá ẹ̀dá kò lè pẹ́ mo lágbára mo wà nínú ọgbọ́n mo lè pa.
Good day, everyone. You are welcome to the recurrence of our program on Ajisebi Radio TV, which is known as You Know Your Right Under the Law. My name is Abdullahi Adebayo Abdurrauf. You are welcome once again to the recurrence of our program, which is being held every Sunday of the week. Since some weeks now, we've been discussing a topic which is known as your right to life and what you need to know under the law, under which we've been able to explain so many things that relates to life in Nigeria, especially under the law of Nigeria, and what are the conditions by which we can use, or we can exploit to enjoy this right to life that every one of us under the law. And under this, we've been able to discuss so many things that I've said earlier. And today, by the special grace of God, we shall continue with our discussion about those things that you must know about your right to life that you are there to enjoy under the law. This program is being brought to you by Ajisebi Ọ̀yọ́ Online Radio and TV in conjunction with Abdullahi Legal Academy. Abdullahi Legal Academy is an initiative that caters for dissemination of the knowledge of law, especially the rights that each of us has under this law. At the same time, organizing a result-driving law tutorials for law students across fields of courses of law in Nigeria. And we've been able to do so many things in order for us to achieve these two aims of ours. This is one of our programs that we've been doing. This is our radio legal awareness program. And there are many other programs that we have been doing and that we are doing and that we shall still do in order for us to be able to achieve these two aims of ours. And we are using this opportunity to plead to you that you are here with us right now at this moment that we need sponsors. We need so many sponsors to be sponsoring our programs in order for it to be so much comfortable for us because we are expending a lot. We are expending a lot. And if you also want to place an advert on this program, the door is open to you. Let's use our own to make progress into your own, and you using your own to make progress in our own too. Let's work together, and it shall be a kind of a happiness relationship between you and us. Today we shall be explaining another offense under the law that which is punishable with death. I'm talking about those offenses. I've been talking about those offenses that are punishable with death since 4 weeks now. And today we shall still explain another offense that is punishable with death in Nigeria. I've explained the offense of treason, the offense of treachery, the offense of robbery or armed robbery, and I've also explained the offense of trial by ordeal. Today, by the special grace of God, we shall be explaining an offense that is known as murder. Murder is a kind of a popular offense that every one of us know before. I won't need to explain so much to explain to explain the definition of murder before every one of us know what murder is, because it's a kind of a popular offense out there that people are committing every day. It's so pathetic that people are committing this every day. And if a person should be found guilty of murder, this person will have no he will have no uh, he will have no excuse under the law than to be punished with death. This is established under Section 319 of the Criminal Code Act and Section 221 of the Penal Code Act, where it was provided that whoever that kills another person unlawfully and the person is found guilty of murder will be punished with death. Death is a kind of offense that falls under the classification offense that is called as felony. And I've explained on this program before that felony are those offenses that are punishable with nothing less than 3 years imprisonment and the maximum of death sentence. So if you see any offense that is punished with a punishment that is not less than 3 years imprisonment, and you see any offense that is punished with maybe more than 3 years imprisonment or life imprisonment or even death, all these offenses are classified under the offense of felony. And murder is also one of the offenses that are classified under the offense of felony. And if a person is found guilty of felony in Nigeria, the person will be put to death. The court will pronounce the death sentence of a person, and the person will have nothing more to do than to just live this life for the people that are living there and go and join the people at the afterlife, especially the person that he has just killed. Before a person can be found guilty of murder in Nigeria, there are three things that must have come that must have came in place. These three things must be combed together in order for the offense of murder to be established. A person must have been killed. That means a person should have the death of a person should have occurred. The death of a person should have occurred. And the second thing is that a person must have been accused to have killed the person that is dead. And the person that is accused must have done something to the person that is dead, knowing that this thing that he is doing to such a person at that moment in time will cause the death of the person that is causing that thing to. And he must also know that at that moment in time, even if the person is not dead, a kind of grievous bodily harm may be sustained by the person to which such a person is doing that thing to at that moment in time. Let's say, for instance, now a person bring out a gun. We all know what gun does. If a person is shot with a gun, the bullet will either cause the death of the person who is shot, or cause a kind of grievous body harm to the person that is shot at that moment in time. The person now shoot another person in a circumstance that is not allowed by the law. If a person now shoots another person in a circumstance that is not allowed by the law, and the person, as a result of the shot from the gun, the person dies as a result of the shot that the person shot at the person at that moment in time, the person has done something with the intention that he wants to cause harm or even death of such a say or of such a person at that moment in time. And at that moment in time, if the person that is shot is dead and the person that shot another person is brought in front of a court, being charged under either section 319 of the Criminal Code Act that talks about murder in the southern part of Nigeria, and or under section 221 that talks about an offense called culpable homicide punishable with death in the northern part of Nigeria. If such a person is brought in front of a court at that moment in time and the person is found guilty of this offense, according to this law that I mentioned earlier, the person will be sentenced to death. The person will be sentenced to death. This now brings about some questions that need answers under the law in light with what the law says in Nigeria. Let's take for instance now, a person is dead and we of all believe that this person is actually dead, but we do not see the dead body of the person. But a person has been accused to have killed the person at which we all believe to have been dead. Can the person that is being accused be prosecuted and be sentenced for the offense of murder or the offense of culpable homicide punishable with death? Of course, the person may be prosecuted and at the same time may be convicted and at the same time may be sentenced for the offense of murder. This has been held in plethora of cases that came in front of the Supreme Court of Nigeria, where it was being held that even if you don't see the corpse, if you don't see the dead body, if you don't see the corpus delicti of the person that is being alleged to have been killed, but there are some circumstances that link the person that is being accused with the death of the person that we are talking about, the court will have no other thing to do than to just sentence the person for appropriately for the offense that he has committed. And this brought about a kind of writings that has been circulating around the social media that where it was being alleged that a lady was alleged to have killed her husband, and he was brought in front of a court, and the court found the lady guilty, and he was sentenced to prison to imprisonment. And after he had served his jail term, she was freed, and he was going about one day and she saw the husband that was alleged to have been killed, and he now went on to to take a gun and killed the husband in a real life then. And the matter now go to court again, and you as a judge, what will you say? Will you set her free because he has served sentence before, or you will say, okay, you will start the case afresh? Or, well, I'm not a judge, but let me just say what the law says about this thing. Is that there are many issues in this fact that people have been circulating around. There are many issues in it, but let me just distill out just one or two issues. Because the dead body is not found does not mean that the person that is being accused cannot be found guilty of the offense of murder, or even may not be sentenced to death for the offense of murder. That is the first thing. And the second thing is that if sometimes there is something that we call the doctrine of last sin under the law. If we all know that the accused was with the dead person before the death of that person, and immediately after then we found the dead body, or we heard that the person is dead. Let's take for instance, maybe 1 hour ago we saw Mr. Dead Body with Mr. Alive. Now, immediately after 1 hour, we heard that Mr. Dead Body is dead. but Mr. Alive is alive. And we saw them together 1 hour ago. And Mr. Dead Body and Mr. Alive were Mr. Alive was the last person seen with Mr. Dead Body. The doctrine of last sin will let us infer that Mr. Alive should come in front of the court to come and explain what happened to Mr. Dead Body, what caused the death of Mr. Dead Body. And in the absence of any explanation by Mr. Alive, it will cause Mr. Alive his life. Mr. Alive will also be sentenced to death because he is in the right position to tell us what happened to Mr. Dead Body, what caused the death of Mr. Dead Body. And if we are unable to get any information from Mr. Alive, Mr. Alive will also go and join Mr. Dead Body at the heaven. This is, in summary, this is what the doctrine of last sin says, if you are talking about the offense of murder. And there is a case that was decided last year, June last year, 3rd of June last year, by the Supreme Court of Nigeria. There is this man that was, have an issue with one of his girlfriends. If he has more than one of his girlfriends, it was reported that this man and this lady are in a kind of sexual relationship, and this lady later got pregnant. And after the lady got pregnant, the man was told that he was the one that owns the pregnancy. He invited the lady, and when the lady was leaving her house, she told her family that she was going to meet this man. And after then, the lady was killed. The dead body of the lady was found, and the court was able to infer that since the guy was the last person seen with the lady, it means that it should be the one in the right position to come and tell the court what has happened to the lady, and in the absence of which he will be sentenced to death. Even though there are many other things that later occurred in court, even though there's a kind of a voluntary confessional statement to which he later retracted, and since the court was satisfied that he was the last person that was found with a dead body, he was sentenced to death. The High Court sentenced the man to death. The Court of Appeal affirmed the decision of the High Court. That means the Court of Appeal says that they agree with what the High Court says. And when it came to the Supreme Court, that was what the Supreme Court also said too. So the man was later convicted. So this means that it is not always necessary that we find a dead body before the person that has been accused may be sentenced for the offense of murder. May God just help us, may God save us, because most times when this thing occur, most of the people that this thing occurs to don't know what has actually transpired, but it's because they are just unfortunate. They were at the wrong place at the wrong time. Most of the times, that's why most of them are being convicted for the offense of murder, and by implication, according to Section 319 and Section 219 of the Criminal Code Act and Section 221 of the Penal Code Act, they will be sentenced to death. They'll be sentenced to death. So murder is also one of those offenses that are punishable with death in Nigeria. And when I was classifying those offenses that are punishable with death in Nigeria, I made mention of an offense that require I'm one of those offenses that require the taking of life of another person before that death sentence can be imposed on this person. So murder is one of the example. Murder is a perfect example of an offense that requires a person to firstly take the life of another person before that sentence can be passed, can be imposed on such a person at that moment in time. And the offense of murder is being applied in everywhere in Nigeria. As it didn't apply in the southern part of Nigeria, it's also being applied in the northern part of Nigeria. So there is nowhere in Nigeria where the offense of murder is committed that the person won't be convicted and that the person will be sentenced to death. Even though there may be variation in the names that are being used, in another part of Nigeria, it is being called culpable homicide, punishable with death. And in the southern part of Nigeria, it is being called the offense of murder. So I can just say that culpable homicide punishable with death is synonymous with the offense of murder, and they both carry the same punishment. I would like to stop here today. This is 11 o'clock already, and but before I suspend the lecture till another time, let me quickly read over what I have under my section by my comment section on Facebook. If I have questions in order for me to provide answers to it, and if there is no question or questions, that means I will be suspending this program till another time. But before then, I will I will like to commend the kindness of AA Ventures. AA Ventures is an enterprise, AA Enterprise rather, AA Enterprise is an enterprise that sells data bundles. So if you want to buy data bundles, contact AA Ventures. And you can contact AA Ventures on 07025714351. So let me quickly browse through what I have here under the comment segment. Okay. Mr. Imam Alero Lenyi, they say well done, sir. I'm very grateful. El Warithi, well done, sir. El Warithi is one of my best brother. It's one of my brother. I'm very grateful. El Warithi, I'm very grateful. His real name is Abdul Waris Abdul Rauf. As I'm always bearing Abdullah Abdul Rauf, his name is Abdul Waris Abdul Rauf. I'm very grateful, my brother. I'm very grateful. Queen Adirunke, more grace to your elbow. We are very grateful. Olanyinka Olasokanmi Kamasamanida, call your account and phone number. Let's pin it. Yes, okay, for the sponsor. I will make the comment here. I will make the comment here after the lecture. I will make the comment here. And right on, Mr. Adeyinka Olasokanmi Kamasamanida. Then yes, again, Mr. Adeyinka Olasokanmi Kamasamanida, Equator. We are very grateful. And Mr. Poet Sam Madenyi. I'm very sorry if I'm unable to pronounce your name very well. Sam Madenyi. Please, I'm very sorry if I'm unable to pronounce your name very well. It says, well done, God be with you. We're very grateful for the prayer. We're very grateful. We're very grateful. So, until another time that you and I shall be meeting here on the program, that we shall have the recordings of the program, I wish you a wonderful legal day ahead.
mo lówó màá yan tálíkà jẹ ìkànnì koríko tẹni bá ti tẹ o àtẹgbé iṣẹ́ ẹranko nínú igbó màá nìyẹn kìnìún ewúrẹ́ ó pè jẹ wọn ò lẹ́bi erin náà kí ó fà á yá.